Guys, there is a new album out, and if you don't know about it, you should know about it.
I do know about albums. I grew up in the age of albums. I started on
Specifically when they were
records,
CDs.
went to tapes. Technically, the records weren't mine; they were my dad's.
But now they're back.
But who Beach Boys?
Yeah, so there's a Disney album called A Whole New Sound,
Oh, I like this one.
which
Okay.
is doing so it's I think it's like meant specifically for our age group. I just don't see any demographic that would enjoy it as much.
No, a lot of things are now, and it's great
Perfect. And
because we market it exclusively or extensively to the boomers, and then we are boomers' kids and
we're the next ones in line.
millennials. There's a lot of us.
So it's
You guys have money now.
pop punk
The money we've let you have.
covers of classic Disney movie tracks. For example, Part of Your World from Little Mermaid, covered by Newfound Glory,
Newfound Glory.
or
Newfound Glory.
A Whole New World from Aladdin, covered by Yellow Card. Go the Distance from Hercules by We the Kings. I mean, this stuff is like The Colors of the Wind by Tokyo Hotel. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Simple Plan. I mean, this is like perfect, right?
Do you have this memorized, or are you reading?
Oh, I was looking at it.
off of it?
Actually, I think I probably knew those off the top of my head because I listened to it enough. But I can't
Nice.
recommend it enough. I mean, it's not going to go win like whatever the music awards are. Grammys? No.
Let's start our own music awards.
Yeah, it'll win one of those, but probably not the real ones. But man, I recommend it. It's a good time. And it got me thinking. I was
Hey.
like, why are those 90s, specifically 90s Disney songs from animated like classics so ingrained in our brains? What's up with that?
Combination
I
of
watched-
major chords and catchy lyrics.
I mean, did they care more about the lyrics? I watched what was the one I barely ever seen, but I saw it again. Brave
Fern Gully.
the other
Oh,
day with my
Brave.
kids. Cool movie, it's fine.
I don't-
whatever. But like the music, like when they're
I
like
like the
out
movie.
in the pond or whatever fishing and stuff, it's just generic like I don't know, happy
Ding diddly ding
princess
ding
music.
ding.
I mean, it had words, but I couldn't tell you literally.
I don't
of
know
them.
any of the words in that song
Exactly.
or movie.
So when did they stop trying? I mean, they still give it effort.
No, they're still
sometimes.
trying. Encanto rules.
Encanto.
Frozen is.
Yeah,
I think a few people might know a couple of the songs from Frozen.
maybe. Coco has that one.
But
Remember Me,
remember
Remember
me.
Me.
which is on that album, by the way.
Who
But-
covers that one?
Nice.
Mayday Parade.
Wow.
Yeah, so man, that stuff always like it's like such a part of my being a kid. I just don't know if my kids would grow up later and be like, "Oh yeah, we watched Brave" or whatever. Like,
Hey, Zach. Zach, would you say it's part of your world? Hey-oh.
Got him so good.
yeah, there's too many. Now I am going to sound like a boomer. There's too many options now, man. There's too many options. When I was a kid, there was like
are.
4 VHSs that I played like 1,000 times, and I watched the crap out of Pete's Dragon.
Yeah. I was telling my kids earlier this week that when I was growing up, we didn't have cable. I was one of those kids. But we had 3 channels, I think. Well, okay, so 4 channels and PBS. But it was golf on almost all of them, golf and news.
Somehow.
And, anytime that I was around to watch TV. And so, like, we had, I don't know, 12 different VHS tapes. See, not that poor. And
Only 3.
yeah, but I was showing my kids Nightmare Before Christmas because got to watch it. And he said, well, we stopped watching it because we had to go somewhere about halfway through, and then I was like, hey, you wanna watch this again?
Finish it. Finish the plot.
No, you want to finish but the Christmas stuff's coming up. You love Christmas. How do you know? Because I've seen it 100 times because it was one of the
Promise you this.
12 pieces of media I could experience at any given time.
Yeah, like I know like all the words to that movie.
Yeah, and so kids could probably watch 12 hours of Netflix or Disney Plus a day and then have like 1 or 2 things that they had both seen. Like if they
Yeah.
went to school and then like, oh yeah, I watched 12 hours of Disney Plus a day. Oh, me too. What have you seen this?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Have you seen this? No.
Yeah.
There's just so many shows. which, from us trying to join the massive world of podcasting, I cannot complain about.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh no, self-reflection.
About that
The
time.
worst kind.
Give me a quick top 3 of your I don't want to say necessarily 90s. Top 3 Disney tracks. Disney songs.
Ooh.
I mean, what counts as a Disney movie? Okay, the Star Wars theme song doesn't count. You know what I'm going for.
I'll make the man out of...
karaoke'd Go the
Yeah,
Distance.
go ahead. No, please.
Oh yeah, I've sang Make a Man Out of You from Mulan a bunch of times in the car. It's like someday I'll get to karaoke this and it's going to be
It's
amazing.
gonna be great.
And same story with Eye to Eye from Goofy Movie.
Okay.
Which is on that album, by the way. A band that I don't know very well,
Nice.
but
I don't know that one either.
they're called Magnolia Park. Which, shout out to Magnolia Park if this somehow helps you.
Hey, and yeah, I think Alex is the reason that I like Make a Man Out of You so much. A lot of singing that at the top of our lungs.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
There's a
man.
volume that some of these songs are meant to be sung at. I mean, I think that there's so many of these people who will do covers of them. It's the reason why we have popular versions that are, sung by the original cast rather than being sung by Michael Bolton or Mariah Carey or anything like that. No, you need this to be an ensemble song.
Yeah. You see some live showings of Nightmare Before Christmas, and like they get the cast to sing it. Like you're not gonna get like random people to do, Jack or whatever.
Yeah. Go the Distance, though, I almost exclusively have listened to the Michael Bolton version from the credits. And I am not that way with any of the other songs.
Interesting.
Like Moana has Alessia Cara at the end singing
Oh yeah,
the Moana song. Frozen has Demi Lovato, I think
so.
singing It's Cold Out Here. Whatever the Frozen song
It's
is.
cold
It's
out
cold
here.
outside.
Just kidding.
But yeah, that was it.
Baby, it's cold outside. Just kidding. I have kids. I've watched the movie too many times. But yeah, Go the Distance by Michael Bolton is for some reason outranks the main movie track for me.
The original.
I don't know why.
Ooh.
I think it's just because at that time I feel like all the Disney male leads sound the same.
Mm,
Like
fair.
I feel like I can't tell if you played Aladdin, Max from Goofy Movie, and Hercules saying random lines, I don't know if I would be able to pick out which one was which.
Yeah, was that a casting choice? Like everyone sounds like James Marsden?
Maybe.
Probably.
That's what Hollywood loves.
Hey, it worked for that movie. It's gonna work for this movie,
Yeah.
and we got to have a hit because we only have 12 movies that exist.
They're only grossing
I-
$1 billion each.
Yeah.
I mean, it's working now. We got Garfield sounds just like Mario, sounds just like Star-Lord, sounds just like
yeah, weird. I just don't.
that guy whose life's a wreck at the beginning of Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but they all sound the same
And-
to me.
Like, yeah, I remember listening when I was listening to the audio book of Jurassic World.
Wait, what? Hang on. Let's wind that one back because that's psychic damage to me. The audiobook of Jurassic
No.
World, not Jurassic
No.
Park, not Lost World. You got
Nope,
the
specifically
novelization
Jurassic
of a
World
movie.
audiobook.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh.
I can't believe it. That dinosaur is bigger than anything I've ever
And
seen.
then just a
He
bunch
said,
of yelling,
holding
just
2 margaritas in both hands. Wow.
running away.
The novelization just really sells it to me. You get that backstory on that guy.
God, you remember in Jurassic World when that one lady just got like just out of nowhere, just chomped in half by that water dinosaur for no reason? Someone was really angry at that lady for no reason. Usually those characters die and they're usually, like the lawyer in Jurassic Park or whatever. Okay, he's quote bad person or whatever. But man, they just destroyed this lady for no reason. I barely remember the lady because I barely remember the movie because, hot take, the new Jurassic trilogy sucks. But I do remember that and being shocked along with the Margaritaville reference.
You'd understand more if you read the novelization of all of the other Jurassic World books.
Is there
movies,
audio?
Sorry.
Is
The
there
audio book of the novelization of the hit motion picture Jurassic
Good.
Worlds and the other ones.
Good. Now I just need to get the Lego video game that is off of those as well.
Oh, I didn't know that they made a Lego Jurassic World video game.
No, I think they did they make a Lego Jurassic
World.
Park? I thought they did.
Really?
Jurassic World, the audiobook,
I
the
could be
video
wrong.
game by
Jurassic-
Lego.
It's a
Yes.
text
No, there's
adventure.
definitely a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Lego.
Well, there's the Lego, but I thought
Adventure.
maybe there was a Lego game. I can't remember. I haven't played enough Lego games. I probably should.
It's been a minute.
Speaking of water monsters that shoot out of the water and try to eat people for
Ooh.
no reason. God, what
Exquisite
a segue.
transition.
Whew.
Welcome to Animorphs 55. I'm one of those hosts, Zach,
Podcast.
but not a bad host.
I'm Patrick.
And I am not a host
I'm
for
Patrick.
anything. I'm Alex.
Right. You don't want Yeerks. You don't want to be a host.
No.
And today we're covering book number
Continuing
4.
guest star Alex.
The message. Let me read that.
The message.
I'm actually. It's turning. Oh, this camera's moving with me. I'm actually getting. I'm getting absorbed into these front taglines, just about how generic they can be and how many ways they can say nothing, using morphing puns. This one is sometimes you have to change a little more than your mind. So here's our summary here. It all started with the dreams, but Cassie didn't pay much attention to them. She and her friends had all been having
It was
weird
all a
dreams ever
dream.
since they'd first learned to morph. Maybe it was just some crazy side effect. But that's when Cassie discovers that Tobias had been having the exact same dreams about the ocean, and a strange feeling that someone is calling to them, calling for help.
And it calls me.
Now Cassie, Tobias, Jake, Rachel, and Marco have to figure out if the dreams are a message or a trap. And if it is a trap, it could mean the end for everyone.
Wait, so they have to figure out if it's a message or a trap? What's the name of the book
Yes.
again?
The trap, I mean the message.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. I feel like they really buried the lead on that one. That wasn't the most mysterious.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is our first Cassie book.
Hey.
And I'm wondering if we're tired yet of the recap of the situation on Earth yet. I think they're being creative enough about it. Like, okay, thanks for the reminder of how it works. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not annoyed by it yet. I will say that every time they start morphing, it's like a whole page of the changes that are going over them, and I don't know. It's just I get it. If it was just a poof, I'm a dog now, that'd be fine.
I can see it more in some of them where it's like, okay, you're never a dolphin. Like, this is interesting. But when, like, I do remember, like, birds, like, you describe becoming a bird every time. I know it now. I get it.
The feather pattern emerged on my skin like a
body,
tattoo.
Becoming 2-dimensional pattern becomes 3-dimensional. Anyways, so
And finally 4.
So Cassie's running around her barn looking for something. You don't really know what's going on. And she decides, I'm going to morph a squirrel in the middle of the night at my parents' farm.
Oh yeah, she's looking for someone done been eating her chickens. I think. Or
Classic.
It's farm hijinks.
Farm
Someone's
hijinks.
doing farm hijinks to her, and she suspects it's a fox. So she turns into a squirrel,
Yep.
like you said. You take it away.
Yeah. And
I just wanted to say the phrase farm hijinks.
Thank you.
Jinx.
Thank you for that assist. And she becomes one, and then Tobias shows up. I don't remember why Tobias shows up, but he does show
You
up.
should put a bell on that kid.
Does he live there now
Well,
instead of Jake's attic?
yeah, he's living out in the woods, just like, be asleep. But maybe there was a reason I forgot. But he flies in and tries to eat the squirrel. Guy's just like, don't eat me, I'm the squirrel. Oh crap, why are you a squirrel in the middle of the night looking for a fox? Hey, who's there? All this commotion's happening. And Cassie's dad walks in before she can finish demorphing from the situation and almost gets caught. Dumb kids.
Does the squirrel tail scale up with her? Like, is it
That's
like
what it made it
when
sound
she's
like.
her normal height? So you got a 5 foot tall human being, ish, and they've got
Yeah.
a squirrel tail that is proportionate to their body. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because when you morphed into the squirrel, it's a much smaller tail. So you're just saying the whole body. The proportions don't make sense.
I think it's like the idea is it could just be whatever. Like you just never know how it's gonna turn out. Like you like I think
Yeah,
even
but-
one circumstance could be you could just like I don't know if this ever happens, but you could just fully form into a squirrel as giant as yourself and then shrink. Like all the changes have already happened 100% and then I mean, they could be anything. I don't know if that happens, but you just never know.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. If anybody could do it, it's
It would be
Cassie with
Cassie.
her fantastic skill at morphing.
Or Axe
Just
with
become a giant squirrel.
or what we turn out to find Axe at the end with that whole deal, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, he's probably pretty good at morphing.
Probably.
Or is he,
Or is
as we find out in the later books?
But they discover that they've had the same dream.
About the ocean.
Yeah, and they're
Spooky.
kind of they end up talking to other buddies about it, let them know, and I don't know. Everyone seems pretty incredulous about this, and I'm thinking, I don't know, man. Your world has gone pretty nuts the last few weeks. This doesn't feel like the most unbelievable thing to me. I'd believe Cassie. I think if I was in that situation, I'd like to think so.
I'd be like, yeah, like 2 weeks ago, we went to a construction site with it where a UFO fell out of the sky, and then he shot pictures into our minds with his brain. And maybe that's happening again right now.
Impossible.
But no, it's some completely different process that we will never see again.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
and it happens again as they're talking, right? It happens again. She passes out, and Tobias passes out, and it made me realize just how fragile Tobias is now. Not as in like emotionally fragile. I mean, like he fell off his
yes.
perch or whatever because he passed out. And I'm like, you can't demorph if you like broke your wing or something.
yeah.
You die
That's a
in
rough deal.
hawk form. You die in real life. I mean, that's
I think
them's the breaks.
That's. as
But
they would
also,
say.
how fortunate was Tobias to not be 6,000 feet up in the air,
Right.
reading the newspaper or whatever he does.
Challenging himself to I could read that book from 3 blocks away.
He does so much bragging later on when they get to the boat. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Oh, and in this chapter, he also brags about pooping on people.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
He's like, yeah, you better watch out. I can poop when I'm flying, and that was just a weird detail to include that Tobias really wants
getting
to bring
pretty
up.
good at it.
What a
I mean,
guy.
if you could
But-
aim
Hey
your
guys, let's
poop
all talk about pooping.
as a bird, would you try to hit people? Yes or no? If it had to be yes or no, not sometimes, just yes or
On-
no. I mean,
on advice of counsel, I cannot say.
and
Poop on others the way that you would like to be pooped
Right.
on. So, not at all for me. Thank you very much.
I, so a lot of the next few chapters are deciding if they want to go through with it, like if they want to bother following this lead.
Yeah, it's like this has been happening. I don't know. You're crazy, but it has. Tobias has seen it. I don't know. You do have an active imagination.
Remember
Oh,
that
hey, look what's
time-
on the news.
Remember that time you told us that there was like an Andalite in Yeerks? Ha, silly kids. No, that was you too. You were there. Oh, whatever.
I thought it was just my overactive imagination. But then they see on the news some guys like, "Hey, I found this piece of a spaceship out on the beach,
also
and
imagine
it's
that
got
voice.
these crazy writing." Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's just kind of the kind of people who are on the news. And Tobias is like, or no, Jake is like, "Hey, I went into the spaceship that first night, and that's definitely the same writing. That's not like French or anything. That's alien language." And so that, I think, makes everybody believe. And so they're like, "Well, we gotta save him. He could, or whatever is calling us from the ocean. We got to go investigate it. Like right now, it sounds like time's running out. Anyway, a couple weeks later, I was
good amount of time, and then they're panicking. Then
like, they drag their feet, and then they find out that the Yeerks have been closing in on the signal, and of course, it's a very tense. Like, oh no, we can't let them see us. Well, could have done this 2 weeks ago. And now I get it. They're junior high or high
they got
schoolers
an
with
algebra test.
busy
Patrick.
schedules. Yeah. But we never hear about them being in band, or Jake's not even on the basketball team.
Yeah, if they were in electives, they would drop that stuff right away. Be like,
He's no
sorry,
Tom.
Mom, I can't do this
Yeah.
anymore.
I have to hang out with my friends at the mall. What
Yeah,
excuse can I
constantly.
give you for this?
I gotta go.
Mom needs me.
Shovel up some horse manure with my girlfriend or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to just go and shovel, but he can't.
So they do decide to go. To do it. They're like, let's get dolphins,
Dangerous.
Right.
not Darkwing Duck. Dolphins instead.
I just want to throw in as many 90s nostalgias as I can.
Yeah, and I think that I wasn't expecting the Friends reference for the dolphin names, but
Yeah,
but they do.
there's six
They do
dolphins.
find 6 dolphins.
Phoebe, Rachel, Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Ross. I did it. I still remember them.
Bravo. Well,
Right.
Before they manage to go and get these morphs, we're talking about they go to the ocean to try and see what they can do and turn into
Mhm.
freshwater fish inside a saltwater ocean,
Yes,
which was
doesn't go well.
concerning, yeah, at the very least. And they just are like, oh no, it's the sharing and it's the controllers. Well, we'll just go ahead and morph and run into the water, which immediately seems like a terrible plan. They do it anyways, and
Mhm.
we just kind of hand wave it away with just, well, yep, that's probably just some kids that ran into the water, took their clothes off, and we can't find them.
Disappeared.
Yeah,
This is one of the classic meanwhile back at the barn type, like, we're good.
Yeah.
We're out of it. We figured it out.
And then it's the most unbelievable part of the whole book happens. One of the controllers picks up a pair of jeans. Hey, there's jeans over here. Oh, it's probably those kids we were chasing. Is their name written on the tag? No. What? This is the 90s. Everybody had their names written on the tags of everything.
just
Yeah.
in case you lost your pants.
You might lose the
Yeah, because you can't
You
find
might
it
lose
otherwise.
your
There's no
pants at
internet to
school.
figure it out. Yeah, but they did get shot at, which is pretty intense. Like, there's something
Yeah.
different about that feeling of like, oh no, like human guns are shooting bullets at me rather than generic lasers, even if they are crazy powerful lasers that we discussed before. But like bullets
We
feels
have.
like next
We
level.
have discussed that.
But they do.
Yeah.
But they're good with the burning in the salt water, as you said, and decide that's not a long-term solution. Let's get dolphins. They get dolphins, but and I did want to ask you guys about this. This is one of Cassie's first moral dilemmas that she poses. Oh, Alex has opinions. I'm ready. Go.
I just the going into it and being like, wow, this could be an ethical quandary. Are we really enslaving creatures to make their DNA work for us? To which I couldn't help but laugh at it. I'm like, are we serious right now? We're saying to ourselves, we're trying to survive as best we can, and touching an animal for 10 seconds and then going off and pretending to be them is impugning their honor or diminishing their animal spirit or whatever it is. It's an absurd question to ask. I cannot look at that and say, yep, 12-year-old was really cooking with this one. No, this is the kind of question a 12-year-old would ask at a sleepover, and everybody'd be like, whoa, yeah, you're right. Maybe we're the animals, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, there are. I mean, part of what people, spoiler, Alex, people do struggle with Cassie books at times as they in
Yes.
this series,
Yes.
just as a character, because
We
she
all
is the
have.
moral grounding of the group, and sometimes people think it's like too much of a high horse, or that it's a stupid moral that she has, or whatever. And I do try to get on board with some of her thoughts, but on this one, I just can't figure it out. Like, you're not taking over that animal. You're completely abomination, like new creation that exists that is you and this thing spliced together. um I mean, I think her point is, you're battling the instincts inside the morph, and by you taking over it, you're suppressing those instincts. So that's bad because you're taking over
Now,
that.
this
But at the same time, if you don't battle it, then the instincts take over you. Is that bad? Like, oh, now it's making a slave of
Ooh.
me. So
Wow.
really,
That
the
got
animal's a
deep.
jerk.
And this is the first time that I've actually kind of understood Cassie's side of it a little bit. I will go back to my original position on this, but so the Yeerks take over. Like there's a body of some sort, and then the Yeerks go in and they control it. Well, then, oh no, am I going to become the Cassie when I say this? When you morph, you are creating a exact duplicate of an animal or a person or whatever, and then you are controlling its brain. And to some extent, there's a lot of parallels with this is not my body, but I am controlling it. If there's instincts, that means there's a brain, and I am totally controlling that brain. Okay, yeah, that's a little questionable. However, does that mean that every time you morph into that, you are creating a new life, and then every time you are morphing out of it, you're killing it?
Good point. Good point.
Oh, that's the same as it feels a lot like every time I go to sleep, it's like a death.
This is what I mean with this is 2 a.m. like
12-year-old
sleepover
slumber
talk.
party.
This is
Yeah.
very much not something that somebody who's like, I gotta do this. This is important. Like, if that's the case, Cassie, why don't you go ask some of your animal friends that you are rehabilitating, if you're truly doing the best thing for them, or should you allow them a noble death in nature? And you're doing something.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're interfering with the circle of life, going back to Langley.
if you dip those toes into the pool of, all of the repercussions of your actions as teenagers who got alien magic powers to turn into animals, girl, you're not going to stop. You're going to lose your mind, and you're going to end up as a crazy old lady out in the woods. Like, we got
you're
bigger
already gonna
problems, bigger fish to fry.
You're already bordering on, like, if you're going to keep saying through this whole thing anyway. Just
Exactly.
roll with the punches.
Girl. Oh.
So I'm forgetting that they, like, they go to that creek, morph dolphin, they all decide to do it, morph dolphins, get in this creek and shoot out to the ocean. Was their intention to go find it right then? And they got interrupted? Like, what was their intention with this part of the mission?
Yeah, because they did the trout thing, and then they got dolphins, and they did go to the creek, become dolphins, and go.
Yeah.
And then they did it again, right?
Yeah, they did it again because
wasn't the
Marco
time.
got attacked, and they were all like, that was awful. And then they go
right.
back. But, like, what were they doing? Were they trying to get out there right then? Or were they just like, holy crap, this thing's far away?
I think at that point, all they knew was that it was coming from somewhere in the ocean. And maybe if we go out in the ocean, we'll have a better idea of where it is. But so they go out in the ocean, and they're exploring, and they're like, yay, dolphins. I have no cares because the dolphin's brain is making me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see you fighting back very hard against that, Cassie.
Yeah. Nope.
And the description was pretty awesome. I thought it was pretty good writing of, like, okay, I feel this. Like, everyone's excited. Everyone's having a good time.
I thought the description was, is this a message or a trap?
Yes, that was it. and yeah, you're right. I think it's just, I know this thing's coming from the ocean. Let's go to the ocean, I guess. I mean, it's a good starting point.
But then, so they go out there and they see they're playing, and somebody's like, hey, remember, oh no, Tobias is like, what are you guys doing? Come on, it's already been like an hour.
I'm bored. I'm trapped as a bird.
Oh,
God,
wow.
This sucks.
The consequences of my actions are making me bored. And they see a whale getting attacked by sharks.
Yeah.
And so, like, dolphins don't have a whole lot of different combat options. So slam your face into them is the preferred combat method of choice. And so they slam their faces into some sharks, and one of the sharks starts bleeding from it, and then the rest of the sharks chase that shark away. And so we meet a whale that I guess has psychic powers. They all the whales have psychic powers.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to
And I
pose,
love it.
pose was like, was this part super cool and like mystical, or really dumb and cheesy? Like, which one were you leaning toward as your?
Ooh.
It's totally both. It's totally
Okay.
this like you know, is it cool the idea of like, oh, you know, as a cetacean, which is the classification that whales and dolphins belong to, you have some
Love
similarities
vocab.
that exist, probably in the way they communicate and stuff like that. But you know, they're not really talking to each other. But having this kind of like enhanced Andalite think speech function, like that was kind of cool. I mean, it was the same way that like you saw the Andalite, you know, you saw Prince Elfangor dying, and he's like, "Hey, here's some brain images about my life," kind of thing. And to get that with this like weird, heavy, oh yeah, 80 migrations, and I've been around since boats bellowed smoke and stuff like that. Like it was supremely different than anything else that's been in these books so far. But also at the same time, I'm having a, you know, we're having a psychic, you know, whale conversation. Like I'm thinking of finding Nemo levels of, you know, like whale speech. Yes, exactly. And then they're like, and then 10 minutes later, I just woke up out of this conversation. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And the rest of the book treats it so strangely, but it's bizarre. It is very unusual, but I'm not entirely sure it's unwelcome.
It wouldn't work for any other character besides Cassie. I feel like this
fair.
would not be a Marco situation. Be like, suddenly I was in tune with the whale next to me. He'd shut that down so quickly and be like, oh well, we just don't know where the ship is because I was a dick to this whale. Sorry, guys. But they do save the whale, and the whale's like, "Thank you," or whatever in whale speak. And but Marco got beat up by these sharks.
I think I got.
Yeah, he got his tail almost got bit off.
Mm-hmm.
And so was this where they all keep him afloat? The whale leaves, right? And then he like hangs on to the others, and they keep poking him back up to the surface while he changes. Which I think the whole purpose of this section of the book is to show is to increase the stakes later when they go back out and they're like, oh gosh, it's so far out, we can't just be a dolphin, switch back to human, and then switch back to dolphin because it's so cold and it's really hard to swim when you have weird fin arms, and so we'll almost certainly drown.
Well, and also I think it's established, or it's reminding the reader maybe that, hey, you're injured if you demorph and morph. You're not injured anymore. Or just demorph, like you're not gonna like demorph with your legs like dangling off by the knee or something like that.
The injury didn't affect his human DNA, which
Right.
I don't like this quote, mostly because when I think about it too much, my brain hurts. Because it's like, okay, so you're no longer a human. So you somehow have the divine spirit of humanity in your animal form. So like it does line up with what Cassie's asking earlier, but also at the same time, that doesn't make any, your DNA is not hurt. If I cut your arm off right now, your DNA isn't hurt. That's correct. But your arm is gone. And so like you really are, you're rebuilding and destroying a creature that existed before and then building a brand new creature and just kind of transplanting your consciousness through it if this injury didn't hurt your DNA. So I don't know if the teenagers are ready to deal with the implications of this, but woof. Woof.
Yeah. And also, like, can you get a haircut then as a human? And like, if you morph and demorph, like, do you still have that haircut? Like, you just never get haircut? Like, your just hair grows forever and you'll just never be able to cut it down?
You turn back into a human, your fingernails are like 6 feet long.
You're like those Guinness World Records ones where they have them in like the long pouches because they're so long and curly. Hey, what are those weird 5 kids from school? Oh, those are the Animorphs. They have like 6 foot long nails. Weirdos.
Pretty sure that kid's got a hormonal disorder.
So then they do they make a plan, and it's a pretty good plan. I think it's a pretty good plan. hey, let's be birds. Let's fly on a boat. Let's ride the boat to not kill our morphing time. Let's get off around.
Was
when
there
we think
any-
it's where we're supposed to be?
Was there any planning involving like there will be a boat going this direction, or were they just very lucky to find a boat going the direction they wanted?
sure
could
seemed
be.
like it.
Basically passed
Yeah, it
over
could be.
where they were going.
Maybe there was behind the scenes discussion that would have been boring to read about.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Hey, I contacted the
Yeah.
whatever the
port
boating-
authority. They said
There
there's
it
some
is.
boats going out, and they said, "Why are you asking me about this?" And I said, "Don't worry about it." And they said,
And I said,
"Okay."
I said, what time and what direction? Is there some space for me to hide? Don't worry about it.
The whale told me that every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. boat drives
Yeah.
over.
So they demorph on this thing. They're freaking cold and wet, and then they remember Marco can't swim, and so how do we get this guy over? Because he'll just drown.
Well, but then also it's a huge boat, and they're talking about like that is a really long drop down to the water.
This was like the scariest part of the book to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was trying to
And
think
then-
about looking over like a cruise ship or something and being like, "Oh man, that is a heck of a fall."
No.
Yeah, and there's a line in there like it didn't seem like it would be that big of a deal to a dolphin or to a, I don't know, maybe bird, something. Like, it wouldn't have been a big deal to them, but for a human, oof, that could really do some damage to us. So anyway, our plan is to jump over, land in the water, and then turn into a dolphin.
Yeah.
Wait, but a dolphin wouldn't be hurt by the fall.
Nope. I mean, they did it with Marco. I mean, they have.
They push him over. They push him. They're like,
push
"Oh,
him over.
transform me. I'll morph halfway,
he's like-
and then push me over." That's the only way this gets more dangerous.
Yeah. Get knocked out, drown, get trapped as a half dolphin
It is
hybrid.
what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but guys, I can't swim. It's okay, it's salt water. Go, you'll float.
Yeah.
Not entirely.
Read a book about the
Yeah.
Dead Sea one time, and now
And that's when they dive real deep, which this is when it brings out the thalassophobia a bit. Yes, where it's like the ocean's a real big place. I think that's
The big
developed.
monsters we don't know anything about.
I think that's developed over time more than I would like for me myself.
Okay, yeah. I grew up, we would go to Florida to visit my grandparents, and we'd go on a vacation there like once a year. And I loved the ocean. I could see through it. I never saw anything scary in it. And then I went back to school and I learned about sharks and whales and jellyfish and
like
Yeah,
weird
sea
parasites
monsters.
or something, and just ugh.
yeah. But for the longest time, I was like, no, I love the ocean, but don't get me near a lake. Lakes are terrifying. There's alligators and snakes and probably a bunch of dead bodies and rusted cars with sharp parts sticking up. And I don't know what, I can't see like a foot through these lakes. And this was in Texas. This wasn't like Lake Tahoe or whatever, where you can see to the center of the earth.
true.
Mm.
But my goodness.
But the oceans
Yes.
you're more likely to be swimming
anyway.
with a dead body. There's
Probably.
at least one dead body
But
in the
yeah,
ocean,
like-
by the way. Spoiler for everybody, in case you thought there wasn't.
No.
That math can't work out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
But yeah, definitely learned for me. So maybe it wasn't such a big deal for them.
It's just big empty space and pressure. It's kind of the same idea of people who do like that deep cave diving stuff. That freaks me out too. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
just not being able to get away. The ocean's a pretty big scary thing.
Well, and it's one thing to say, here's a creature with gills that can breathe underwater, and another to say, we took a dolphin morph, which has to hold its breath and going down underwater. Oh, that gave me anxiety thinking about that. You're not
And Cassie
you're
was
not
treading water as a human.
doing your thing. Yeah, exactly. You're not
Yeah.
just doing your thing, breathing underwater at whatever depth. No. If you don't breathe at the right time, you just drown, like all other things that drown.
Mhm. But they do get down there, and they're basically like, we got a final push because like we don't have time to go up now. We got to get in, or it's over. But they get in that. I think of it. I had a really hard time. Like I think I know how she was describing the ship that they find, but I kept thinking of Sandy's house in SpongeBob.
Absolutely.
Almost exactly the same.
Okay,
Yeah, it's got a
great.
big glass dome over a park with a bunch of crazy trees, and here's a entrance airlock
The
thing.
same airlock.
Yeah, almost
Stick a
exactly.
fishbowl of
the
water on
famous
your
house
head.
from SpongeBob.
I don't
Yeah.
need it. I don't need it. Yeah, just all of it. And immediately they get knocked out,
Bam,
which is a
stunned.
Yeah.
a Goosebumps type cliffhanging chapter rather than just a scene change. And it wasn't just, oh, that's right, I wasn't knocked out or whatever. No, they were actually knocked out.
The view I saw knocked me out, metaphorically
Yeah.
speaking.
And
I saw somebody very attractive. I would describe them as a knockout.
That-
and that's
that's
what
what I
happened
meant.
to me. I don't know why I phrased it the way I did before.
And
But I'm fine.
and there you go. They meet a new character. New character alert.
It's an Andalite. His name is Aximili Esgaruth Isthil.
Perfect.
Yes, nailed it.
Oh, maybe.
I didn't even look at anything.
I think they all started doing that. Like they started circling him and like singing that. And he was just like, "What? What is this human culture?"
Chanting Lil Wayne at him, and he's like, "Bro, I don't know what to do with this.
This is a lot.
You're doing a lot of things at me, kids. Thanks."
So he does trust them pretty quickly. I mean they could be controllers. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how there's no stakes if you can be like, well, I'm gonna sit down here for 3 days, figure it out if you're one of you can go without a Condrona or something. I mean, I guess they're little. Maybe
Do you have human food here? No, just grass.
Yeah.
Just spooky Andalite
I think there's
trees.
enough here that he's like, sure, like I gotta get out of here. Let's just
Yeah.
go. I mean, if you end up being a jerk, I'll figure it out when we're out of here.
Yeah, and so he gives him a little tour of the Andalite spaceship. Is a dome ship. It's got a big dome over a lot of Andalite wildlife and like trees and grass and a lake. And we learn that there are several kinds of trees which are very similar to each other except they're different colors. And then they have a special word for the way the water comes together near the trees that we spend about a paragraph learning about and how interesting that is.
Yeah.
Which, having read the rest of the series, I will spoil it for you. It does not come up
I
again.
don't remember that ever being a thing. I actually entirely forgot about that, and it totally seemed like something I would ask. Where if he said that and it's like, oh yeah, it's that. It's the way that does that. I'd be like, you have words for that? What? Like what a waste of vocabulary.
We're not paying by the word. I mean, thought speech is pretty cheap. So,
oh yeah. And then right on time, we got to go because the Yeerks are here and they're bombing the ship. Let's get out.
Yeah, and then Aximili, the Andalite, is a new buddy. He says, well, luckily, a few days ago, a sea creature swam by and I stunned it and I acquired it. And I just can't help but wonder how.
Lasers? Low setting lasers? Didn't we? Maybe?
No, he'd have to walk outside of the dome to do that.
Well, I mean, maybe it's attached to the ship. And you press like a button.
The creature was attached. Yeah, how are you?
I don't know how you get to it. Even if you stun it.
I got you.
You got a
I don't
horse
know.
creature walked out into the bottom of the ocean.
All the pressure from the ocean on a creature, an Andalite, who, just like the Futurama spaceship, is built to handle anywhere between 0 and 1 atmospheres of pressure. Swimming through the water and touches a shark. But he has a shark.
Yep.
And he hasn't left.
I don't know. He needed help getting out, but he has the thing to get out.
Well, that's what his whole exposition's about. He's too young. He's not a warrior. He's not any of these things. He thinks Jake is a prince. I mean, clearly he's addled. His brain is not right. He doesn't understand, hierarchies of power or basic skills like swimming.
Guys, I just ate, and I hear you're not supposed to swim after you
30
eat,
Earth days,
and I just didn't want to do it alone.
Yeah,
my friends together.
But they did. You know what? I think there's a book later that describes how he gets that shark morph. I think there is. We'll see. We'll see. Future selves will look back and be like, that's right. But I think there is one where you get Axe's point of view for a second during this, and it says how he does it.
Is that the other underwater one?
I don't remember. I just have this like flash in my mind. We'll find out. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nice.
Maybe it was a fever dream. Maybe I was just getting a calling from someone in the ocean.
You should go to the ocean.
So they do get out, and they're like, "Hey." I like how Axe is like, "Hey,
I'm swimming here.
yeah, you got it. You got." He says it just like that. He says there's what morphs do they have, or not morphs? What controllers do they have here? Oh, humans. Duh. Thank you. Hork-Bajir. Oh,
Hork-Bajir.
cool. That's it.
We're good. We're safe.
Oh, and Taxons. Oh God. There's Taxons everywhere. Oh no. Yeah, and it sounds pretty gross.
Apparently Taxons are primarily a aquatic species because they are fast.
Yeah, and you see those teeth coming at you.
Also, yeah, they're incredibly fast with their tiny, pointy centipede legs. I don't know how that works, but maybe they wiggle, and they're good at wiggling
or wobble.
And I think every time in this book series there is a Taxon, metaphorically on screen, one of them dies, and it's described like puncturing a bag of wet garbage.
Yeah, it's just gross every time.
And so it's like, oh, a wave hit. I've been defeated by a slight amount of pressure. But yeah, they like just, oh no, they're gonna get us. Wait, what if we just swim lightly through all of that?
Yeah, what if we
and
what
then
if we didn't
the
run away?
Taxons are defeated, and then we hear womp womp womp,
Which was that key word that we saw. It's probably the most. I would venture a guess that it's the most popular 3-word combo of the book. Is womp womp womp. Which
why did I?
You guys did remind me of the following inspirational quote, which I did find on a website that has it in different fonts and backgrounds and borders, just so you could really post this inspirational quote to your Instagram or whatever else you use. I was reminded of the following. Bump, bump, bump. Did you ever ride a wump? We have a wump with just one hump, but we know a man called Mr. Gump, and Mr. Gump has a 7-hump wump. So if you bump, bump, just jump on the hump of the wump of Gump. So I never really heard wump, wump, wump. I just kept hearing one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish in my head during this part.
Not far off.
And you're welcome.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Red fish and a blue fish.
I was about to ask if that was Lil Wayne.
It is.
Oh,
it was actually a collab between him and Dr. Seuss.
I think that does exist out there. Yeah.
Same album. Yeah. No.
Beautiful.
I question the logic of having the taxons that aren't really good on land. They're just menacing looking. They swim fast under the ocean, but this is the first time that we've really done any, ocean faring times. And they have skin that's apparently the same strength as, off-brand plastic bags. And they're just full of, soup. Who said, yeah, we're going to go out of our way to put creatures that, inhabit and take over the will of things into the worst possible, God's mistake of a creation.
All I can think is that it's just bodies, right? Like if there's just all I can think of is that there's just so many types of bodies that work. Like, cats, Visitor 3 said cats were too small. So maybe they came across something like cats. Nope, no good, too small. I think he said they were too small.
Yeah, anyway, but like my buddy...
These cats don't get any respect.
Yeah, my buddy Joe got into a Hork-Bajir. He's got the deluxe model. And I'm over here in, the 20-foot-long garbage bag with too many legs. Like,
yeah,
it's a bummer.
I mean, it might be, the lower ones. I mean, but like, I would assume that it's still a step up for a Yeerk, right? Like, that's the idea. It's still better than what it was.
Out of the kiddie pool for this one, yep.
But yeah, I just imagine like, just, when you like throw up in a toilet and you just kind of look at all the stuff floating around in there. That's how I imagine it in the ocean with these tags.
Yeah.
The commonality of human experience. Yes.
Have you guys ever thrown up before? Okay, great.
So first Yeerk that ever like took over a human. How did that happen? Because they're like on a spaceship coming to Earth. There's Visser 3 in his Andalite body. There's a bunch of Hork-Bajir and then a bunch of murder snakes.
Yep. I guess we'll just have to read a book
And
to find out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for
I think
exactly
it'll be a
that.
few more weeks.
Yes, it will be many, many weeks. All right, what did we do? Oh, we got to womp,
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 womp.
and then we
And-
went super off the rails.
You know, I could picture this part like as like a movie or a show or whatever, just like where they're just kind of like, what do I hear? What is that? It's like look above the water.
This is
and it's
the
just kinda choppy
literary
water,
equivalent of.
and they can't.
This is
figure-
the literary equivalent of the Jaws.
Yeah,
Dun.
very much, and they're kind of they're like half panicking and half just confused. Yeah, and then they see it, and it's like this weird. They describe it to Axe, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a mandrake or something." That's Harry Potter, something like that.
Mardert.
Margaret.
Sounds, it
Oh,
just
yeah,
sounds like murder.
Margaret.
Murder with
Margaret.
some letters
Murder
swapped
Margaret.
around. Yeah, there it is.
Murder Margaret.
Yeah, giant
Wh-
big
what
fish
is-
thing.
Well, yeah, what does this thing look like?
Running
Because
Myrtles,
I didn't
that's
feel like I got it. He talks about a bunch of little fish fins and everything like that. And so
Mhm.
I'm kind of figuring like a big fish with 3 holes in it instead of like eyes and a mouth. And then everywhere else is just little fins, which that's terrifying, but I don't think I got it right.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of fins on it. I mean, I think you're right on that.
I pictured it as kind of like a rocket ship rocket with a bunch of fishtails sticking out of it. I'm like, I didn't even picture a mouth or anything that could hurt them. It's just like, here's
I'm just
or like a
here.
heart. Okay, yeah. So we skipped over the fact that this is Visser 3 that has turned into some sort of big crazy. Oh,
I'm
there
seeing
we go.
I'm seeing some fan art of it, and that's what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's kind of like a manta ray shaped thing.
With lots
and
of tails
does
on it.
appear to have
And it's got these big pockets that
Mad
suck
right.
the water through, right? Because the idea is that this thing doesn't ever get tired
Just
because
whoops.
it's just
Oh,
using
yeah.
natural
It's just-
energy through the water.
It's just like breathing.
Yeah, I guess. But it is Visor 3. You're right.
It's Visser 3, and he gonna eat them because he likes eating people. That's his whole shtick.
He does. Yeah. Which feels like
Yeah,
the way
he's-
to really like stick it to him. Like, yeah, that's kind of like a top tier way. Yes, killing people does make them die, but eating them is a very surefire way to be like, all right, I know that my henchmen didn't mess this one up. You know, I didn't give it to my
Yeah,
goons
I
and
did
say
it.
take care of it, and they said sure thing, boss, and then they messed it up. Like, no, I know that the job
Yeah.
got done. I ate this thing. It's dead.
Yes.
That's a good point. It's that whole Austin Powers. I left him in a room with the slowly descending platform.
It's a guarantee.
Well,
It's sure.
What
bet.
more do you want?
and like, why wouldn't I think maybe we've asked this question before. Like, why, dude? There's like 4 Andalites here, or 5, or whatever. I don't even know if you count how many dolphins and sharks there are right now because there's more than usual. But why don't I capture them to have more capable Yeerks? I don't know. If
Yeah.
I'm Visor 3, seems pretty pompous, and
Visser 3 is pulling the ladder up after him.
Like,
Absolutely.
No, I am the best.
exactly.
The best controller.
Yep.
You can't have this.
Yes, that's what it
I'm not
seems
going
like.
back to my taxon body.
Right. That thing's a wet paper bag. Have you ever tried one of those?
Exactly. Not
Sucks.
doing it. Never again.
Yeah, and they're just screwed, right? They're like, well, we don't have infinite stamina. This thing does have
Yeah.
infinite stamina, and it's a lot bigger than us. Well, this sucks.
Yeah, it gets tense.
Yeah. I mean, they almost
they're
think
they're
gonna die,
slowly
like, every
tiring
day.
out, and he's gaining on them like a foot every minute. Like he's slowly getting closer, and they're like they realize that even when we get to one of the islands off the coast, we're still not going to be able to demorph and escape because he's gonna find out that we're not Andalites, and that'll be bad for us in the long term. No, he's gonna eat them, and so there's a real good sense of dread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did like this piece
okay,
that we get this convenient character trait of Axe. Top speed to the nearest island, Jake said. How do you tell the time? Axe asked. Sometimes we carry a watch. Sometimes we just have to guess and hope for the best. Oh, with your permission, I'll keep track of time. You have a watch? No, I have the ability to keep track of time. Oh, okay, good enough. How much time is left? Great, I'm glad we have this now. Perfect.
Problem solved.
Also very cool that we don't have what is a watch? Let's have a conversation about what is this thing that you call...
Yeah. What is like?
just
Let me interrupt like every
single
word
thing.
you say and ask you what that is because I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah, I've got a blurg sket. It'll track. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means. Just sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
take care of it. You kids are
I'll
going to be
I got
fine.
time.
Don't worry.
I've got the time deal. Yeah.
What is a what? You know what? I don't care.
Yeah, I can totally do that. Whatever. Yeah, you've got 30% of your time left. He's just making it up. That's what I'm choosing to believe. He's just like, yeah, whatever. You got plenty of time. Sure.
I need to make these 12-year-olds feel better. Yeah,
just
30%.
guessing.
You got 70% to go. Yeah, you're good. It's like 1 minute away. Nah, it's fine.
He's like,
It's fine.
these guys could easily be Yeerks.
Yeah.
If they get stuck in morph, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm getting out
I'm
of
out
here.
of the
Not my
ship. It
problem.
doesn't matter anymore. But they do realize suddenly, Cassie's like, well, I'm just going to think about other things besides my impending death. Like that whale that I saved. I can even hear it in the distance. Wait, I can hear it in the distance. Thank you. I can hear it in the distance.
And then Cassie's like, you know what? I give up. I'm just going to turn around and tell him I don't like you and he can just eat me or whatever. And then we hear a loud tiger uppercut, and the whale that they saved earlier rockets up from the
Couple of
deep
them.
and headbutts Visser 3's crazy monster. They're like, you gross. We don't like you in our ocean. You get out.
Yeah.
And he just gets smashed by these 60-foot whales.
Yeah, I mean, like, beat up.
Yeah.
It's great. And then he runs away, and the whales stop chasing him. And then they come back
And Visor 3 doesn't
to
come
the
back.
Animorphs.
One of those kind of
Yeah.
quick tie on the story real quick type things.
Yeah. And everyone's like, we're not going to make it. We're going to be stuck in morph. Wait, I think the whale totally gets our situation and is going to let us use it as an island for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so they all just like climb on the whale and fall asleep as the whale swims them to shore.
Yeah, I don't know how Axe
And
is
not
doing that on
once. Yeah. It'd be like a dog trying to ride in the back of a pickup truck.
Right. And also, I have to tell you, when I read this as a kid, I was like, what? How could you ever sleep on a whale? Like, that's how you'd be like falling and you just went through all this crazy stuff and it'd be cold and wet. And now I have kids and I just want to sleep all the time. And I could totally sleep
Yes.
on a whale. Like, absolutely. I could just crawl up there and just be like, I don't want to move anymore. Just sleep.
I could be underwater in my sleep at any moment. I'm okay.
Yeah, you know what? This whale could
okay
just
with that.
could just submerge itself for half hour.
you go.
I'm fine.
Goodbye.
Shout out to the movie Bad Moms, where the one mom fantasizes about getting hit by a car just so she could be in the hospital for a week without
Yeah, with no kids.
screaming at her. Yeah, and,
Parenting's great.
So
Okay.
the whole time that they're all just on this whale, and I'm thinking, you guys have got to acquire this whale.
Yeah,
Nope.
Right?
This is the only
you'll never get this chance again.
Okay, so I used to work with Alex, and I did a job interview to start working there. And one of the questions, little icebreaker question, was what animal describes your work ethic? And I said blue whale, because I consume a vast amount of resources to create something beautiful, but ultimately seen by very few people. And like,
Which is a fantastic
you're never
answer.
going to have a chance to see. Thank
It's a-
you.
yeah, it's a
You're
very
never
creative
going to have another chance to like touch a whale. Like, how are you going to go touch a whale? And then, nope, they just, this whale's cool to us.
They
I'm not gonna do
don't
it.
think of it.
They could get psychic powers, psychic whale powers.
True.
Yeah.
This whale is like the ultimate thing to morph into. It's huge. And nothing is going to mess with it. Although it did, some sharks did mess with it earlier in the book. So
I don't
maybe
know.
that's not true.
It feels like
got
it's don't think
crazy
it
brain
all the way
powers.
through yet, which could be totally natural. I mean, I feel like if it was me, I would just anytime I got in contact with any living creature, I would be acquiring it. Like just Why
Yeah,
not?
there's no Elfhanger didn't tell him you only have like 10 slots.
Yeah.
No.
What if there is?
I'd be like, no, I'm gonna get a brown cat. I'm gonna get a white
Yeah.
cat. I'm gonna get an orange cat. I'm gonna get a black cat.
I'm gonna get so many cats
Just
that
in
I like,
case.
can't actually morph any of them because I can't remember what they look like because I have too many of them.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so the whale carries him back home. Like I think that happened in Pinocchio. It's been a long time since I've seen Pinocchio,
Same.
but I'm pretty sure he spits them out in their beds at home.
Yeah. I think it climbs up and
And,
walks up to their house. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know. The whale drops him off close to shore, and then
They go up the creek and have
it's
their an extra pair of clothes for no reason.
I brought an extra pair of boxer shorts and a
Yeah,
shirt.
why?
And so they all get out of the water, and Axe no, they're talking about where Axe can live, and they say, oh, the woods out by Cassie's farm. Cool. How's he gonna get there? Oh, I'll have to morph. Apparently all he has is shark and Andalite, and so
They never got anything on the homeworld, which I don't know if it
and
fits.
so rather than like using his lightning fast tail to like whip a bird out of the air and acquire it, he touches each one of the human Animorphs and morphs like a combination of all of them, which is really cool and would be a super cool thing to do in the future.
To hide
but
your
again,
identity
it's just
or anything.
Yeah, it's just a you know what? This has served its purpose. Let's never do this again.
He could have acquired Tobias. Tobias is right there. There's a hawk. Like, hey hawk, land on me and I'll acquire you, please, because you're a hawk now. I think this is how it works.
We could be hawk buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't they share?
Bro, we're the same hawk.
Why don't they share? Like, okay, so Cassie has access to the zoo and it's free. Why are we making Marco pay his $1 to get into the
Ooh, I
zoo
see your
when
point.
Cassie can go touch all the animals, turn into one, and then have them touch her?
I don't know.
That's a rule. That's a different rule because
Can you acquire a
does that
morph?
work? I don't think you can. I mean, we haven't discussed it in the book so
I don't think
far,
it's been
and so that's a
established.
perfectly valid concern. But I don't think they ever do it.
It's
And
frowned
I
upon.
think maybe we go into a little bit of the science about why it doesn't work.
You gotta earn your
because
morph. Come on.
Yeah, they should totally just copy each other's homework.
Yeah.
But yeah, still like.
But if
There's-
Tobias is a hawk
we-
now, he just is a hawk, right?
Oh, yeah.
I guess, but unless there's like got that
should
DNA
work.
splicing going on in there that we talked about, I don't know. I don't know the rules. He's a one of a kind, as he said in
Yeah.
his book.
But yeah, I forgot early on in this book, there's a lot of like, not Marco's poor, but they definitely point out how Marco's poor and he can't swim.
Mhm.
And
Oh, move to a crappy apartment.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's good at math though, because they're running away and like, we have 2 hours. There's 35% left. Marco's like, guys, that's
Nope, that's Cassie.
Wow.
That's Cassie.
guys, that's
Marco
75
couldn't
minutes.
even do it.
Oh, that's so Marco's not even good at math.
Nope.
He's
Damn.
just poor
And
and
his
can't
dad was like an
swim.
engineer or
Oh.
whatever. God, come on.
Yeah.
Well, at one point he was an engineer. Yeah, and then they're like, and then meanwhile back at the barn, we made it home. And Cassie later is like, I gotta go ask these dolphins for permission. What was I asking them again? I don't know. This is fun.
We dolphins.
Yeah, kind of a
Yeah.
cheesy last chapter, but you know.
Now, is that a cliffhanger to be like, is Cassie going to do the same thing Tobias did and get stuck as a dolphin?
Yeah, like is it a dark
It's just
ending?
so great. Yeah.
Uh,
But it's
We'll
not.
find
It doesn't
out
read like that.
next time.
Yeah, maybe next time with the 3 Animorphs, Axe, Tobias, and
Oh yeah, because they can't just
Dolphin
save the
Girl.
Animorphs; they have to separate them. Yeah. The what'd you guys think? I mean, what'd you guys think of this one?
I had a good time. I had some. I disagreed with some of their choices. Like, it's so urgent that we go save this guy or fix whatever's in the ocean, and then they wait 2 weeks. That was annoying. Axe not leaving even though he had all the tools to leave the spaceship underwater. Like there were a few things I didn't like. I thought the running away in the water sequence was really well done. I felt the dread.
Mhm.
And how are we going to get out of this? Like uppercutted by whales is a pretty cool way to get out of it.
Mhm.
However, it does feel a little Deus Ex Machina. And we get Axe. I like getting Axe. Axe is a fun character.
It's an upgrade. Like, I mean, you just expanded your team.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the math according to Cassie. 20%?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I gosh, I don't know. I want to say 6 right now, but I may go plus another one. I'll go with 6. It was fun, but a lot of why'd they do that kind of moments.
So I went into this one thinking Cassie books annoy me. I just remember that stigma. Cassie books annoy me a bit. And
Yeah.
I still couldn't quite get past her thought on, oh, you get morph. You're in a morph. You're taking over that morph, particularly if it's a sentient creature. I mean, Marco even seemed totally shocked. Like, we can morph a human. Like, remember when he was when Axe was acquiring Cassie? He's like, you can do that? Like, yes, guys. You haven't really tried very many things.
Humans have DNA too.
Whoa! Better 2 a.m. conversation. Yeah. And yeah. So I still struggle with that, even though I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I was like, no, I just don't see how it's the same thing. But she did get her. Each of these books is like giving the character their reason to fight, right? Like Jake had his brother, Rachel has Melissa, or just the idea of families, because hers is split up with divorce, and then Tobias is like for the Andalite, and then now Cassie is for the Earth, and we'll find out what Marco's is for. And it was. I thought she was a really empathetic person. She made lots of little comments to her friends and just like give them a little pick me up here and there, and just was really insightful what their strengths and weaknesses were, and what they were like. She could read them pretty well and stuff like that, which I thought was awesome. It was a different perspective from the other characters, especially Tobias, who's just like, this sucks, I'm a hawk now. That was mostly what he did. The ocean freaks me out. It was pretty visceral for me, because I just I'm gonna give it better than I expect. I'm gonna say 8. 8 out of 10 fishtails on a Mardruk or whatever it was called.
There we go. Yeah, no, this one I don't know how the rest of them are going to go, and again, I haven't gotten through everybody yet, but thus far I think Cassie has probably been the one that I feel like I can kind of empathize with the most as far as thought process and everything like that. I think the real like delineation here is, the ethics and the like high-minded thoughts, like the philosophy behind Cassie book so far was great. But every single plan inside of here was the dumbest thing I had heard in a while. It was all just terrible, terrible plans.
Taking the boat out was good, but I don't know if they had a boat in mind.
I don't know if that was even her. I don't think that was her plan either. That was like one of those things where it's like, yeah, we'll just get a boat. We'll just go sit on a boat as a bunch of birds. And it's like, yeah, okay. There's a little more to it than that, I'm sure. But
you just like get a boat.
Just get one. God. Like, just go to the boat store, buy a boat, and just rent a boat. You have friends who have boats, don't you, Rachel? But yeah, I did. I like this one a lot. I thought that it was diverse in the way that it kind of like approached a lot more of the goings on. It wasn't just a matter of like, I'm gonna get the biggest and baddest morph. I did the morph. I was the big guy or the smartest or whatever it was. It was more about how it got done and the connections along the way than it was just doing the thing. And I thought that was unique for these books so far. So I'm going to actually give it an 8.5.
Ooh.
8.5 sandy cheeks, underwater domes out of the ocean floor.
Yeah, good. I did want to do a quick little segment of that morph lore we got going on now. So
More
yeah,
floor, more floor.
this yeah
More floor. Less floor? No, more floor.
Yeah, no, more of that floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elfinger did the thing where like a burst of exposition, and Axe has this thing of like a burst of like a call out. I mean, these seem like useful powers. Is that having to do with being an Andalite, or is that having to do with being morph capable? I don't think Andalites are born morph capable. It doesn't appear, right? They developed that technology. So, is that something that
But they can thought speak.
yeah, like could the Animorphs do that eventually? It would be useful if they could, right? Like where could the story go if they could do those kind of things?
Well, I feel like they the first book they can thought speak to each other, well, humans, and then they got nerfed. It's like, no, that would make it too easy. But yeah, if they could exposition picture thought speak, that would make for really good like communication while you're sneaking around and, hey, you're looking for a guy that looks like this. Boom.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I know
exactly like
exactly
this.
who that
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's probably, if I don't think it's going to happen because I think it would be too powerful. It would kill a lot of the stakes.
Yeah, because like if you can find exactly what you're looking for, that takes away a lot of the different conflict that could exist. For example,
Well, and Axe talks about it too. He talks about like, oh, I'm not supposed to be telling you this, and I have no idea why he's not supposed to be telling me any of these things, especially if they're supposed allies or if he just doesn't understand how it works. And so he's like, I can't tell you how that works yet. Definitely not because I don't know, but perhaps because it's
until
a
the
secret.
authors figure it out in 6 months,
Correct.
then I'll tell you.
Correct.
Oh, and I loved him saying, "Oh, we went over this in Andalite school, but I wasn't paying attention."
I was looking at the girls or boys.
We don't know. He doesn't describe.
Bunch
Yeah.
of horses at desks. That's what I'm choosing to believe that we're looking
I
at here.
like that when he was so the other part of this morph lore was that he could combo morphs,
Or floor.
right? He could
Right.
grab 4 people and turn into those 4 people. What are the
Yeah.
implications? Could they all do that? Could can we have a lion and a hawk?
Like a chimera kind of thing.
Do they all have to be the same species, and the DNA has to be like compatible or whatever? Would it just be like, this isn't Rachel's cat, this isn't Mr. Fluffer's, this is a combination between the two?
Right. Like, is that allowed? Yeah, I don't know. If you could have,
I don't know.
could you create your own super animals?
Oh, I mean, if you were thinking it through, yeah, you're like, okay, cool. I acquired one lion morph. However, I went to a zoo that has a lot better budget, and that lion was super beefy and like had the most gorgeous mane and everything like that. So I touched that lion, and now I have the strength of 2 lions inside of 1 lion.
Ooh, can I combo lions and be a mega lion?
Exactly. Like this one's got really good front
Whoa.
legs, the other one's got really good back legs, and now I've got a lion with the greatest legs of all time.
Oh no,
God.
due to the unpredictable nature of morphing, this lion has the worst legs in the front and the back.
Man, look at that wimpy lion over there. Can't be an Andalite.
See, I was thinking of things like, can we make like a hippogriff or whatever, like make our own hippogriff? But then you're sitting there being like, can I have a bunch of the same kind and like essentially overlap any weaknesses with strengths and get a super version of that animal? That's a good perspective.
Ooh,
Well, and it seems like
like
Visser
that.
3 has a little bit more ability to. He's obviously touched every animal that's ever existed. That's interesting.
Whatever he needs, yeah.
Through song.
But if he's not doing it, I don't know. I wonder if it's one of those things where he's saying, well, it's definitely not possible. It's too much to focus on, or Also, do you morph one animal and then do you morph those secondary abilities? Do you morph them at the same time? Could you just like, oh yeah, I'll always have one pinky finger that's human, so that way I'm never having to worry about the 2-hour time limit because I'm technically part human at any time.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Could you change the structure of your own face if you have that? Is it a 2-hour time limit? And then are you stuck there? So if you make yourself super duper handsome, wait 2 hours. Oh no, I'm stuck being super handsome. How terrible.
That always made me wonder, like, what if you were morphing, right? And then you okay, so then you're demorphing at the 2-hour limit, and you just didn't notice the last dog hair didn't get sucked in or whatever, and so you're like 99.9% demorphed, but you didn't
you
get
got
that
that
last
dog in
hair.
you.
So then now you're
Yeah.
stuck as that
You got
dog-haired,
that dog in you.
that single dog-haired
Nice.
human, and now you lost your morphing ability.
Good one.
Like, when do you know it's over? When you know you demorph?
You've
I'd be
lost your
paranoid all the
morphing
time.
ability, and also you have one hair that just grows at a completely different rate than anything
That
else.
you just
It's
can't
called
get
just
rid of
being
it.
a person.
It's called aging.
I can't morph, and I've got weird hairs. Oh no, I must be an Animorph in disguise.
Just a normal dude.
Just locked down. Yep.
Oh gosh. Cool. Well, all right, guys, that was a good time.
That was a good time.
Well, I guess next time we'll do join us next time as we read Animorphs number 5, Marco's book, The Predator.
The Predator.
I think it's called The Predator. I'm sure we'll figure
I don't
it out.
know.
Just edit it if it's wrong. Bye now.
All right. Does anybody have? Hey, I want to be famous.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody have anything they want to plug or promote?
That's right. Patrick, we want to give you something. You wanted to promote something. Alex, you had something?
Yeah, you should listen to this Animorphs podcast 55. You should listen to this new one that's just coming out. It's episode 4 of Animorphs 55. You can find it wherever you
What's it
found this
about?
podcast. Just at the beginning.
Scroll
of
down
it.
a little more.
And when you're done with that, there's a really cool plug and shout out that you should definitely check out at the end of that episode.
Excellent. God, that's one of the best plugs I've ever
Good
heard.
one. And I do a YouTube channel where I read kids' books, and I think I do a really good job. I do the voices, I do music, and it's a really good time. Brown Bear, what do you see? We do a bunch of Thomas the Train and Paw Patrol and Dr. Seuss, and it's just a real good time. If you want your kids to be read to, but you can't do it, maybe you're in a car, maybe you're skydiving. There's any number of reasons why your kid isn't able to get his hands on a book. Why not come to my YouTube channel? It's Dad Reads to You. It's gosh, I forgot what the logo looks like. Been doing it for a whole year, but it's a red book on a blue background, and it says Dad Reads to You on it. It's just lovely.
I've listened
Thank
to
you.
it. I liked it.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, I love the voices. Also, I was going to say, if you ever find yourself in a dolphin morph looking for a spaceship while being telepathically spoken to by whales, but you're like, oh my God, how do I get home to read my kids a story? Just know that you have YouTube available with this channel. You like a tie-in? I'm a master of these tie-ins.
It's amazing. Yes. Thank you so much.
Animorphs 55, the podcast, is a fan-driven, nostalgic podcast created by Zach Hurdle, Patrick Viersba, and Alex Holton. But don't tell the Yeerks. Theme music provided by Neko Boy. Podcast artwork by Rachel Hurdle. Episodes edited by Patrick Viersba. Based on the 90s sci-fi kids series written by K.A. Applegate, Michael Grant, and other contributing authors. To contact the show, email animorphspodpeople@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.